everyone. Adam here, So Was Your Podcast, sitting down once again with Stokes The Writer to talk comic making and, of course, your newest comic, Intrusive Thoughts 2. But first, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Just making comics, making great comics, that's all I need.
For sure, yeah. I remember we talked before and you were really gung-ho on like every part of the process and just getting better everywhere. So it's awesome that you're back.
Yeah, definitely getting better. One step at a time. I've been pretty consistent at it.
Was Intrusive Thoughts the first one? Was that your first comic? I don't remember.
No, man. Intrusive Thoughts is probably my third comic.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was it going into Intrusive Thoughts 2? Because, I mean, even with Intrusive Thoughts being your third one, every time you do one, there's a whole new set of hurdles. So is it getting any easier as you go?
Is it getting easier? No. No, it's not. Because, you don't have the same vigor you do when you start. Like when I started, it doesn't seem that big of a difference. I was 28 when I started, maybe even 27. And not to say I'm old, man, I'm only 30, but I just have less. I have less energy. Like you have less dexterity. It just gets hard, and you're always trying to do better, right? So it's like more pressure. You're trying to scale things up and get pulled in multiple directions. So no, that's definitely no.
I definitely feel everything you just said.
Yeah.
It's a labor of love for sure. And I know on my end, it's like, it's just not happening fast enough, and it never will. I'm sure for 99.9% of people who make comics, it's never fast enough, and it makes it really hard to keep grinding through it.
No, yeah, exactly. And, I guess the way that you would get through it is just compartmentalize, right? Like I'm working on, oh my God, I don't know how many projects, to be honest with you, at any given time. It's a ridiculous amount. But I think the thing is you put one foot in front of the other. Like you take care of what needs to be taken care of. Mm-hmm. You can push stuff back. You can always push stuff back. You can always if I don't have energy, like I feel like I'm burnt out, I don't beat myself up about not doing certain things. Because that's just the best I could do in that moment.
That makes a lot of sense, because if you do try to force it out or do it just for the sake of doing it, you're going to look at it a week later when you're a little bit more fresh. You take a couple of days off or whatever and be like, that was a waste of time because it didn't come out how I wanted it to anyway.
I mean, exactly. Or you just burn out. I think I've only really burnt out once, I think where I was like, man, I don't care about anything. I think I'm feeling a lot better. Now, I don't think I'm going to burn out. I mean, it's hard to say. Mm-hmm. But you never know. You never know what.
No, you don't, because life will throw you a curveball.
Life will throw you a curveball. I think a thing that's good right now is that I feel as if I have so much stuff that started and so much stuff coming out next year. I guess I'm trying. You're laying down the tracks that you're going. So I'm trying to get just do steady, just building up the stuff and writing a little thing here and there, so that like, hey, if I need to take a break, I can down the road.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Are you primarily writing?
Yeah. That's all I do. Right now I write, I do like a little bit of editing, I do some work for hired writing, and I do Kickstarter consulting.
Okay. Yeah. So that's probably even worse for the burnout, that your creative endeavor is one. I don't know if medium's the right word, but you're writing. You're writing all the time.
Yeah.
So,
I like the actual writing is easy. The writing the script is actually easy. It's almost like therapeutic.
Oh, okay.
It's after that. It's like, find the artist and getting the art and stuff like that.
Oh, and more the business side of it.
Business side, yeah. And when it's going good, everything is good. But yeah, and then no, I mean it all circles back into comics, and even more so, it's nice to get that second stream of income, third stream of income that really helps, and you just reinvest it back into what you got going on.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
Yeah.
So I guess for people who didn't see our first one or who haven't read Intrusive Thoughts, why don't you kind of give the elevator pitch for Intrusive Thoughts 2?
Absolutely. So it's about an orphan. His foster parents are always gone. And he has sleep paralysis, anxiety, depression, and his sleep paralysis demon breaks out and bites one of his classmates. So it's a mystery as to why that happened and how to stop it.
Very cool. And the first one, Is there a lot carried over into the second one, or can people jump on board with the second without doing the first?
You got to read the first one. I really enjoy sequential storytelling and a long form storytelling. A lot.
So you're currently on Kickstarter with number 2. Is one of the rewards the ability to grab number 1 at the same time?
Oh yeah, you can grab number 1. You can grab the whole catalog right now. It's getting ridiculous. Which is part of the goal was to get more back catalog, and it's working. Like, yeah, it's working really well.
For sure. Yeah. Other really successful Kickstarters I've talked to and independent creators say that it's kind of that snowball effect where it feels impossible at first, but then before you know it, you have this huge catalog. So a Kickstarter, it's not someone buying one issue. They're buying your catalog, which really jumps things forward.
Yeah. I mean, I think I had 4 books I released. I had 4 books released by the end of 2022. And then now I have like 6 or 7 that I've added. 6. I've added 6 books to the it's insane. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's really cool though, because then you do have that body of work and the process of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Is Kickstarter your primary way of getting the books out there?
Yeah, I do Kickstarter, I do cons, and I've explored little stuff, you know, but speaking of being burnt out, it's like exploring these other avenues to get the book out is like, it takes time, it takes money.
Yeah. The marketing side of it sucks.
Well, it's not even that it sucks. It's just like, you know what, my goal is to build up a back catalog. Like that's my goal, and just get these projects out, get to the trades, and then get to the con market where, you know, order X amount of copies, sell them on Kickstarter, sell them at a con, and get the money re-up and stuff like that. But the margins are not great in a store, so it just doesn't make any sense for me to like.
That makes sense for the store to make money and for you to make money and to pay for the printing. There's, you know, pennies left for everybody.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So you kind of have to go direct to consumer.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a way to do it. I mean, it's all about like what you want to do, and that's just not something I have an interest in right now.
Mm-hmm. Is the direct to consumer, you mean, or?
Yeah, no, pretty much not something I have interest. If somebody wants to do it, you know, if somebody wants distribution rights, they can have them. Well, I'm not going to search that kind of thing out.
You want to be the creative.
Yeah, you know, and I'm not one of these people that looks at like selling the idea and as if that's bad. I actually, like I said, I really enjoy it, but you only have so many hours in a day, you know, and I'd rather focus on making the comics. I'd rather make more comics, and then like, you know, there's an avenue where I make a bunch of comics and then like, hey, the consumers find me, you know, and then I don't have to go through these channels to get it to consumer.
That's true too. Or when you do have the, I don't want to say the drive, because obviously you're driven, you're producing a ton of work, but when you have the drive for that part of it specifically, you'll have a lot more to bring to people instead of like, here's my 2 books. You'll say, here's my 12 books.
Yeah, exactly. You know, there's a rapper named Russ, and he was talking about Game of Thrones. That essentially, like, it's hard to get addicted to something or obsessed with something that it's a small sample size, right? Like, so I think a lot of us will watch the TV show and then, oh man, I need to go back and watch it. If it's like massive, if it's a huge catalog, you can get lost in it. And I think that's when people get obsessive, when like an obscene amount of content to dig through, you know?
That's a really good point. We're in this like binging society where if you discover a show with 5 seasons, you're like, turn off the phone, shut the door, shut the windows. That's my week. I know. If you find a show with 3 episodes, you're kind of like, all right, and then what?
Yeah, watching week to week it feels weird. Some people don't even people wait.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so it's you know, that's something that I am focused on. I want to get to trades, and once you get the trades, the margins are better, and then the the markup is better as well. Mm-hmm. Some people don't buy. Some people don't buy floppies, you know. So it's just about diversifying the table. It's about, you know, getting these stories out, collabing with people, getting better. I've gotten significantly better. I have a lot of projects coming out in 2020, like an obscene amount of projects coming out in 2020.
Good.
It's gross. Like it's gonna be a crazy year. Like it's gonna be insane.
And when you say better, is there anything specific, or just like you feel like your drafts are tighter, the stories are where you want them to be quicker, your dialogue is sharper, whatever it is.
You know what? It's a little bit of everything. And that's cop out. Let me say I'm getting better at finding artists. Um, I'm expanding. Like I got a bunch of comedies coming out soon. I kind of want to be in a space where I want to, like, when I was like learning how to write the stuff I liked. Like truthfully, if I'm putting on a movie, really, it's probably gonna be like some kind of atmospheric, misanthropic, like like gross, grimy horror shit, or it's gonna be like a raunchy comedy. And that's kind of where I want to be. I kind of want to be in those two spaces where I'm making like psychological thrillers, or I'm making like fun, ironic, satirical. You know what I'm saying? I want to write like James Tinian stuff or Scott Pilgrim. Kind of where I want to.
Okay, very cool.
So I'm getting better at that. I'm getting a lot better at that. I'm getting better at just over. I mean, like I said, it's a cop out. Just overall combo making, as well, and just I would say writing in general, pitching, and my network is getting bigger. It's getting huge. Which is also a thing. And I don't really network in the sense of like I'm not going to talk to somebody just because like they're somebody, but just naturally the people I'm meeting and are gravitating towards me, I'm gravitating towards them, are incredibly talented.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because you're always pushing your own stuff, so you're eventually gonna connect with the right people.
Absolutely.
And I don't think it's a cop out to say that you're kind of just getting better at everything if it's
Yeah.
true.
That's good, right? Like you want something a little bit more juice to it. And I just think it's really about like, when you're writing, you're understanding the medium better. You're understanding timing, your instincts are getting better. It's a lot. It's a good feeling. Also I'm doing just new stuff too. Like I did my first work for hire comic book. And I got a couple of those jobs, and I'm writing shorts now. Shorts are something that I got in my repertoire. I never started writing shorts, and now I'm writing. I wrote like 5 shorts this year. So I'm reprogramming my brain to work in a like a consumable little chunk, as well, and that's a huge thing because I'm in an anthology next year. Uh, um, maybe another anthology after that. Like it's just so everything's been good. Everything is just basically. I think I was already a good writer, but now I'm becoming a better comic book writer.
Okay, that makes sense. Specific for the medium, yeah. When
Exactly.
you're switching, because you said you like doing long form storytelling, and now you're saying you're getting into shorts, how hard is that to switch direction or that toggle switch in your brain?
I think like it's not. I'm still always gonna be long form. Always like that's still my preferred medium, but I'll get ideas and I'll be like, oh hey, like that's a little thing that could work. So I'm just always trying to come up. I think writer brain is always coming up with ideas. Does that work? Does that work? Does that work? And then it's you can go anywhere. Like for instance, I'll tell you how one of my shorts was inspired. I get back from Baltimore, my garbage disposal isn't working. Um, so I'm like, my dishes are stacking up, and like, I got comic stuff to deal with, and I had an idea of like a man in your garbage, like instead of a garbage disposal, it's just like a man that's under there, just like eating your like your old food and stuff like that. And he's like, you hit the garbage disposal button, you just hear like crunches and then a burp, like. That's just an idea that came across, but completely organically. I wasn't even thinking about like shorts in that moment. I was just thinking about a story.
Have you found that the more you write, the less you have to? You're not sitting down with your notepad being like, okay, I need some ideas. I need some ideas. What can I work on? Or are they more just like your garbage disposal thing there where, hey, there's a story there?
I think it's always gonna be a balance. Like I think if you're trying to push yourself, like I think if something's incredibly easy to write, you're not really pushing yourself. And that's not a bad thing. Also, it's not, you don't necessarily have to push yourself, but I'm always pushing myself to write like new genres, new stuff, do this, do that. My friend Pat Shand, he told me I don't write enough dialogue. Like I need to add more dialogue. So all right, I'm writing a story where there's more dialogue. My boy Chris told me like, yo, you need to do more voiceover. So now I'm writing a story that has extensive voiceover, and that stuff's not going to be easy to write. That stuff is going to take fine tuning, but once you've done it, it's like, oh cool, like it's another tool in the toolbox basically.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, that's cool. You're branching out to different things for the sake of branching out to different things. I mean, you're obviously telling a story, but you're doing it purposely to exercise a new muscle.
Exactly. Then you can just write whatever, and especially if you're like me, I want to be a writer full time, or at least I want steady work for hire jobs. And
Yeah.
there's certain things that I would maybe that's the most biggest change is I'm now ready to write work for hire. I've made a lot of adjustments technically and technique wise and creatively to get better at that, because I don't know where I'd be right now. Oh, the stage I would be at if I didn't have the work for hire. Oh, I don't even want to. It's gross. Disgusting. It's I don't even want to think about it.
So it's sorry.
No, that's awesome. You're good.
I was going to say, is it something that kind of came up by necessity, but then you were like, hey, I kind of like this and this is working?
I always wanted work for hire jobs. You always want to diversify your
Okay.
You want more revenue streams. And it was kind of like the opportunities just kind of came from, they didn't come from nowhere, like mostly friends, like almost entirely friends. One of my friends is like, hey, I was like, yo, let me write something. I write something for him, and that's a different style. This thing, he doesn't like a lot of exposition. He doesn't like a lot of explaining. He wants fun stuff. So I wrote a story. I was like, okay, I'm not going to explain a thing. I'm not explaining nothing, which is completely different from what I'm used to. And then another friend approached me and my boy with an idea, and it's 100 pages. It's like, okay, now I got to collaborate with somebody for 100 pages. That's different. And I got to write for something that is completely out of my wheelhouse. But okay, we'll do that. Another one is I got to collaborate again, and now we're writing shorts. And it's coming from these relationships that I'm forming, and like, hey, my friends want to pay me to write. Like, what is better than that?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
That's awesome. And you get to work with your friends, and it's more of those creative juices, more of those creative muscles, because you're playing kind of in someone else's sandbox, playing with someone else's toys a little bit.
Yeah, you know what? You're looking out. You get closer. You get keeping the family too.
Yeah, that too. That's really cool. We touched on it a little bit earlier. I'm a little bit out of order here, but do you want to go through what your Kickstarter rewards are for this latest campaign?
Absolutely. So, I mean, it's pretty standard. We got PDFs, we got digital deluxe PDF, $5 and $10 respectively, and then we got covers, a lot of different covers, and then we have a lot of different covers, and then we have like the back catalog, like I said, a lot of different comics.
All yours, or are you putting in
yeah,
okay.
Comics.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So as far as I mean, people should definitely go and check out the Kickstarter, because that's the time sensitive thing, but where else can they find your work?
Add Stokes The Writer. Like I said, I mainly do it through Kickstarter. That'd be the thing.
Okay, that's where you want people to go.
For sure. Yeah, please.
How about your socials?
Add Stokes The Writer on Twitter, Instagram.com/Decay Comic. And I think that's it, pretty much.
Keep it simple.
Yo, you gotta streamline the process.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you coming back on. I love that you're still writing, and it seems like you're writing more than even the first time we talked, so that's even cooler.
Mm-hmm.
I just appreciate you taking the time. I know you got more interviews, which is great, because that's what you have to do with a Kickstarter. So thank you.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Take it easy.